There are two probable scenarios that can happen with Bitcoin if you would ask me. The first scenario is a 16-year cycle and the other scenario is a regular 4-year cycle, but both scenarios are very different and both scenarios include a massive multi-year long bear market / recession. And I want to talk about that in today's video, and I'm going to outline these two scenarios for you on the chart in order to give you an idea, a sneak peek in the future of what path Bitcoin might follow. So guys, drop a thumbs up, subscribe if you hadn't. Let's jump straight into the content. And I want to go with you to the BLX chart right here, and let's go to the weekly time frame. This is the longer term time frame chart that we're watching right here on the channel. This is also the chart, guys, where we actually said that we're going all in exactly at this low in this yellow box. Why? Because the yellow box is exactly in the timing band of a 4-year cycle low. So we nailed it on this one. We really called the bottom right here, and so far Bitcoin is significantly up from the bottom, right? And what you can see is that we've divided the first 4-year cycles in two parts, which is 3 years up, 1 year down, 3 years up, 1 year down, 3 years up, 1 year down. And a very big question right now is going to be whether Bitcoin will do something similar as we did in the past 12 years basically, or whether Bitcoin is going to do something different and confusing many people along the way. And yeah, let's have a look at the first scenario, guys, and that is the, let's say, just a regular 4-year cycle, right? A regular 4-year cycle would mean that the amount of uptrend for Bitcoin would coincide with previous times we have this green zone, right? So 3 years up, 1 year down. So that means that during this whole green period, we actually could be in an uptrend until October of 2025, where the top of the channel would be at, I can't even see it on this chart, 360,000 US dollars. Is that possible? Yes. Is it likely? In my opinion, is not that likely, because we are in a big turmoil with if we have a look at the economy, if we have a look at the debt, if we have a look at the health of the economy, I don't think, or it should be a very different world than the world that we live in right now for Bitcoin to reach such a big market cap without any recession or without any economic turmoil, right? But it is possible. So let me name a couple of scenarios. So let's say we see something like the Weimar Republic, where we are seeing hyperinflation among the most established Western countries. If we would see something like that and we do get a flight to Bitcoin, then such a scenario is definitely possible. Definitely possible. It is important to note, though, that most of the time in these 4-year cycles, it is at the end of that green box that we are seeing the acceleration of that cycle. So that means that it still could take a little bit time for Bitcoin, a further correction, before we're actually going to see the really accelerated bull market. So basically that Bitcoin needs a little bit more time for its adoption to get this market going. Like something like we've seen right here too. This was in 2015. You see it, like, we do go higher, we do trend higher, but it really took some time before we get that acceleration phase for the bull market. Same here in 2018, 19, and maybe even 20. We kind of moved sideways in this big range for a couple of years, and then the last phase of the bull market, we just rallied in a short amount of time, actually topped, correction, top, double top. But yeah, nothing much happened afterwards here. But you see that the acceleration was a very short amount of time. And that's also what I would expect into this bull market if we do get a regular 4-year cycle. So that means that in the shorter term time frame, we still can get a correction. So how would another cycle look? Well, for that we're gonna get rid of this green box right here. Now we're gonna have a look at the 16-year cycle. The 16-year cycle is built from the idea of how the dot-com bubble as a bubble behaved. So we wrote an article on that over on bitcoinmagazine.com. I will leave a link to the argument to this article down below in the description. But basically I wrote this article and it got published on Bitcoin Magazine. If you like this article, make sure to share it over on your Twitter too. It's very important that more and more people get aware of this. But we basically looked at the dot-com bubble is forming a similar movement as to Bitcoin previous 12 years, because it has also a 4-year cycle where we top on the right side of the half of the cycle. So that is called a right translated cycle. Then we have here a right translated cycle. Here we have a right translated cycle. And then the last cycle, the last 4-year cycle, is a left translated cycle. So that one is stopping before the half of the cycle. And that is what we are looking at with the 16-year cycle. And I think this definitely has a higher chance of playing out. Doesn't mean that we have to top this year. Also doesn't mean that we cannot see a correction, but I don't know, in somewhat this definitely would make a lot of sense if you look at all the economy data, because the economy, the health of the economy is not there. There's a lot of debt that is building up in the background, right? We are seeing lots of charts like this. This is the yield curve inversion, and it had, for example, a awesome track record in anticipating recessions. The problem with all of these macro charts is basically that they have quite a big delay. So that means that right now we are seeing all these charts, recession and stuff like that, but it doesn't necessarily have to happen that it happens now. Of course, now people start noticing it. But it often has quite a big delay, sometimes 6 to 12 months. So 4 times 6 is 24 right here. That would be at April 2024 going until October, November 2024. So it's definitely possible that we are going to see a top in crypto in this area, and then followed by a very long recession, which is a multi-year long bear market, which is something that we have seen with the dot-com bubble too. And it's not that the internet stopped the adoption. No, more and more people were using the internet. It was even crazy that the adoption of computers and internet was increasing all the time. But the price of the companies were in a declining phase because the anticipation needs a correction. And what is the anticipation? The anticipation right here is 12 years of an uptrend. So we have short-term time frames up and down trends, right? So we have a 3-year uptrend, 1-year downtrend, 3-year uptrend, 1-year downtrend. This is when you look from a yearly perspective. But if you would look at a secular bull market, so if you would zoom out, you might have a 12-year uptrend, 4-year downtrend, something like that. So what as above, so below, as we can see in the microcosmos, we can see in the bigger cosmos. So it would only make sense for Bitcoin to sooner or later get that correction as well. And it makes sense when we hear BlackRock wants to get into crypto, Bitcoin spot ETF, all that stuff. It is bullish and it might provide us the liquidity to get to this top in this time and age. But it also shows that the market is quite saturated, right? And that global adoption is actually quite there, and that people are, in crypto, right? And that a lot of money most likely will flow into crypto over the next coming years. But it also, for me, it shows from a technical structure that we can see a multi-year long correction right here. That would make sense if you would ask me. Now comes the important question. How do we know which scenario is going to play out? And there comes this chart into play. This chart is so interesting, guys, and has helped me so much with my trading in the past weeks, months, and that is the stablecoin dominance. This is a inverse correlated chart with Bitcoin, which means that when this chart is going up, Bitcoin is going down. And what we can see right here is that we are in a clear uptrend. And right now we are at basically coming into that breaking point, which means that Bitcoin needs to make a decision. And that decision is whether it wants to break up or whether it wants to break down. A breakdown would shake the markets completely, and like I said in my previous videos as well, that breakdown might even come with the news of the Bitcoin BlackRock spot ETF approval. Otherwise, I don't really see a reason why this is breaking down. It almost broke down on the fake news that this was happening. But if we don't get a catalyst, so that can be, for example, the BlackRock ETF that being approved. That can also be, for example, because of war, because of whatever crisis in the world, the money printer goes on and some bills are coming that billions and billions of dollars are being injected inside the economy. That is also a catalyst, right? So it doesn't have to be only BlackRock. It can also be another catalyst. What I think, what we are often seeing as well, is that before a catalyst, we're seeing actually a shakeout first. So in my opinion, it would make sense for this to break out to the upside, maybe even break higher right here, so we get a severe correction, guys, because these levels right here was when Bitcoin was trading at 15 to 20,000 US dollars. So if we would go to the top of this channel right here, which would just mean we stay in the same structure, right? That would mean Bitcoin is going to 20,000 US dollars if that were to happen. If we break this one to the upside, Bitcoin could even go to 15 or 10,000 US dollars. But maybe that becomes less likely, right? Because that is a very low Bitcoin price, especially in the shorter term time frame. But this chart would definitely backing up those scenarios. However, if the opposite happens, and that's why this chart is so important, because this chart is basically my to-go bull market chart, because to be honest, guys, and I think you probably have the same, like I see it on Twitter too, like the sentiment of people that turning bullish and bearish is changing by the day, even changing by the minute. And if you only look at the Bitcoin chart, yeah, you can say, okay, longer term time frame, things are looking bullish, we're still in an uptrend. But are we still going to visit 20k in the shorter term time frame? Are we still going to go to 15k? Or are we just going to go into the acceleration phase of the bull market? For me, to be honest, when we just look at the Bitcoin price chart, it is very difficult to say. But if we look at this chart, it's actually not that difficult. This chart is so clear, showing us the direction of crypto. So for me, it's just so simple. Breakdown, bull market starts, acceleration phase probably starts, break up, Bitcoin will correct. Both scenarios are fine. Both scenarios I'm going to act up on. So when we break up, I'm going to shop and buy cheap crypto. I got all the alerts already set in place, and if you want to get those alerts as well, they will be published the moment they get triggered over on Will Alerts, which is a private Telegram channel where you can receive extra information on the cryptocurrency markets. So far, most of the calls that we have been doing on Will Alerts are in profit and have been in profit. That doesn't mean that is any guarantee for future success, but yeah, definitely the calls. Even recently, we did some shorts in Bitcoin and Binance token. We had the right moment of taking profit as well before we saw this pump. We launched Chainlink at a breakout. So a lot of calls that we made there actually turned out profitable. So we did a DYDX trade earlier this year, which made roughly 100% profit, which was kind of insane, guys. And yeah, I would highly recommend every single one of you to join that platform. It is for free. It's completely for free. You only have to be an active trader under our affiliates with one of the exchanges that we're providing down below in the description. And all the income that is generated from the fees that you pay to the exchange for trading will be put into Will Portal platform. So it will only let the Will Portal platform grow, which makes it even better for you to make profitable decisions in the market. So yeah, definitely, guys, join Bybit, BitGet or VMAX with the affiliate link down below and sign up to Will Alerts on willportal.com. So yeah, guys, these are the levels that we're watching on the stablecoin dominance. And if we break up, I think if we clearly break this one to the upside, the chances that we are going to go to 20k, 20 to 23k are very, very high. We also have a CME gap there, right? Then comes the important question, whether we're going to break this resistance if this were to happen, because that will make it a little bit, that will change the market structure, and maybe Bitcoin could correct even lower. I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but it is possible, right? Or we can also maybe come to this resistance, then come down and then break this support. Nevertheless, the moment we break this support in the future, that will be a moment, a glorious moment, where probably we are seeing some crazy news. A lot of liquidity suddenly flows into Bitcoin, and I'm definitely going to long Bitcoin whenever that is going to happen. And of course, that alert will also be posted over on Will Alerts, and I will try to, of course, make as soon as possible a video on YouTube whenever that happens. So yesterday, for example, that's a good example. We actually had that massive rally in the Bitcoin price, right? When we, let's go right here to the daily. When Bitcoin just went on that fake news from the BlackRock ETF, you know, jumped just to the levels of 30,000, from 28,000 to 30,000 US dollars. And a lot of people FOMO'd in. And I actually said over on Twitter and over on Will Alerts that, guys, don't FOMO, stay calm, because we are still holding the uptrend right here. And if we have a clear break, yeah, you might have not the best entry, but you carry way less risk than if you and then if you would just assume that it's going to go down, be right now into this into Bitcoin, position yourself into Bitcoin, and then suddenly without your expectations, it breaks up. Right? I'm very curious, guys, what you basically think what's going on with Bitcoin. Do you think we're going to see that 16-year cycle play out? Do you think we are going to see the regular 4-year cycle? Guys, let me know in the comment section down below, and let me know what you think is the agenda from BlackRock. What is the agenda from BlackRock? They are so positive on crypto, not only on Bitcoin, but on crypto. So that means they will probably include some altcoins as well. What is their agenda? Because they are being bullish on public TV. Are they really looking for liquidity right now to enter the markets? What is their, what is their point? What is their point of interest? I know they are trying to get the Bitcoin spot ETF, but I'm just curious what your opinion about this is, because it is quite sketchy, right? I mean, it's the biggest investment fund in the whole world who's actually owning and controlling the world. Bitcoin has such a small market cap, and he starts to promote Bitcoin right now. I think that is really, really weird. So guys, let me know what you think about that in the comment section down below. If you want to, actually, this is a reminder for you. If you want to learn how to get a passive income over on Bybit or different exchanges, I've made multiple tutorials about copy trading, about creating trading bots, which can generate a passive income for you quite safely. So you know that without risk, there's no reward. So there's always risk involved. But I've explained it, and I made strategies in such a way that the risk is really limited, and you still have access and potential passive income. Right? For me personally, it is working. Soon I will drop a video how my month is doing over on Bybit with my passive income. But yeah, I made multiple videos on that. Make sure to watch all of them, because you can get some knowledge about how to create a passive income for yourself. Guys, thank you all for watching. I wish you a beautiful day, and I hope to see every single one of you in the next video.